Well, hello, loyal listeners. Welcome back to our potty, Old Bull, Young Buck.
Hi, Dave.
Hello. My name's David Mundy, and alongside me, as ever, is my lovable young buck, Griffin Logue. Hello, mate.
Barra, how are you, mate? It's bloody good to be back, I reckon. We're still buzzing from the weekend, to be honest. So, yeah, it's good to be here, mate.
Game day's great, isn't it? But recording the potty, even better.
Yeah, there's highlights in life, and this is one of them.
It's great to be here with you, mate. I love looking at your face. How have you pulled up from the Swans game?
Good, mate, good. As I said, still buzzing. It's a good win. Really enjoyed it. 4 points is hard to come by these days, and yeah, it was a great win yourself, mate.
Yeah, no, similar. I really enjoy those close games, getting over the line. It's something that a really resilient team grows into, but yeah, those close ones are quite often the better wins, aren't they?
They feel better, don't they? Rather than your 10-goal kind of something. I don't know. As a player, I've been doing this a while, Dave, and I reckon when you get it just by that, when it's within a kick, it kind of means a bit more. I'm sure JL would disagree and would prefer to wallop a few more in the back of the net, but it's
so
really,
you're just
really happy
boxing with throughout the game, keeping it close.
Yeah.
You didn't want to put it to bed too early.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Give Nath a platform to kick the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're a good man.
He
You're a good teammate.
he deserved it as well. He deserved it. It's a good goal.
It was a good goal.
Captain's goal.
Yeah. Maybe you should set shots, do you think? A bit like that? Have someone hanging off him, quick set shot.
That's what he needs.
snap.
Just play on. Maybe that could be the secret. Play on, do it under pressure.
Who knows? We'll give him the feedback.
Maybe not.
Now, last week we had Andy on.
Yep.
He's a great guest. Loved having a chat to Andy.
He's a good, well-spoken individual, I thought. Good to bounce off. Pressure's on for whoever's on next, but yeah, I really like talking to him. He's a good fella.
Yeah, I felt like the pod really elevated with Andy last week. He's a beautiful young man. Did you have any particular takeaways?
Probably the sweatiness. That's one word I'd sum it up with.
Yep.
Just, I'm not sure if any VOD watchers were there, but saw a bit of perspiration just kind of beginning on the chest there.
Maybe you made him a bit nervous, mate. You were going after him a fair bit.
Yeah, I did my research, so he should be sweating. So no, he was good. It was sweaty, but we do rate him as a good chatter.
Yeah, the other thing I took out of it is he's clearly never been camping or fishing or changed a car tyre.
No, he got confused with a tyre as changing a tyre is in clothes, but it's just ridiculous anyway.
And on the back of that, he's missed a week with a little calf. I'm not sure that's a reflection of
I reckon
the
it could
pod.
possibly be the sweating, the sweating.
Right.
And all that kind of fluid pushing into the place of healing, inflammation kind of worked in reverse because you just sweat too much. But
his little cocaine.
not the best kind of look for the pod, but he should be back next week. So this week.
It'd be great to have him with us in Adelaide.
Would be great.
And other news coming out for the club on Sunday night, Kiara Bowers added another BNF to her already full trophy cabinet.
Yeah, another. It's a good kind of real good scout for her. That's impressive. That's so doesn't go lightly, I think. You've still only managed just the one, which is fine.
Hang on, how many are you up to?
We're keeping with you, Dave, for now.
No, well, she's won 3 in a row, so she's obviously having a dominant time of it, and she's doing a great job.
Yeah,
came equal first in the league BNF as well.
Yep.
Soon to be named the Kiara Bowers Award.
It'd be silly not to AFL name it after her. So another congratulations to her. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's done a huge job. And this morning we had the unveiling of our Indigenous jumper with Des Headland,
Kevin Binder, Michaela Morrison collab. It's a great looking jumper. It's going to be unveiled. It has been unveiled to us, and I think it is available on the store.
It is,
I believe, yes.
Yep. So you can go get your hands on that if you like.
I can't wait to run out in it, to be honest. We saw Sonny modelling it, and he looks good.
He's a good looking man. Do you think he practices a fair bit?
I think so. I know so, to be honest.
So.
I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen enough selfies to kind of get a good gist of it, and yeah, he looks good.
He looks great.
Just ask him. He looks good. Just ask him.
I think he really knows how to accentuate his jawline. He puts a bit of time into it, but
it's a good skill to have, I reckon.
What do you think about our jumper, the Indigenous jumper designed by Desi and crew?
Loved it. Yeah, good input on it. I think possibly JL might have got a bit too excited. It could be mistaken for a JL on the front of it for people that can see it. So just Longmuir, he's got a bit of input there, but no, it's a good looking jumper and something that we can really tie back to the culture and of the club and what we kind of like to get through here. So anyway, enough about that, Dave. I'd like to invite our new guest on. He's got a big shoes to fill, especially shoes. Shoes is a big part of it, but we'll get onto that. Without further ado, Caleb Bing Bong Serong, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me, guys.
Mate, no worries.
A little bit nervous, to be honest. One, about getting bullied, and two, about living up to Andy's hype from last week. He had a great podcast. I had a listen, and he was really good. So,
mate, that's all right. That's all right. You've already had to live up to the height of a pick 8, fellow pick 8 to the Fremantle Football Club, but that's fine. You've done that very well.
Can we start with you've listened and watched to some previous episodes?
I have. I listened to Travis one where he stitched me up as well about the food, and then Andy last week. Yeah,
you have come up a few times, so I reckon that's good, mate. It's kind of why we've got you on. The viewers have listened and they want you on. So
I'm glad that I've got a bit of personality. So the boys are giving me a bit of a shout out. But yeah, Andy was good last week. He was probably my favourite.
He was good, Snee. As we know, he's called Snee. But speaking of Snee, we've actually invited you on the sneakerhead of the club. What's the go with your foot fetish of shoe fetish, or like what's going on there, mate? You love shoes.
I do love shoes. It's definitely wouldn't call it a foot fetish, Griff, but it's been recent. It's kind of been this year.
So it's only started this year.
Yeah.
Just got a bit more cash rolling in, can kind of splash a bit more. Or what's the go?
I started looking at the Yeezys. I never really looked at the Yeezys, like Adidas Yeezys.
Adidas athlete. Clearly.
Yeah, got on the Adidas bandwagon. Nate's got me over, so that was
nice.
That was great.
Only one of two at the club, I believe, as well.
I think there's a couple more now.
Oh,
I think
some got dropped, didn't they?
I think some got dropped.
Sturdy's still in there. He's loving it.
Sam Sturt. Copped a few mentions this podcast, actually. Yeah. Could be next up.
Yeah, a little fifey, they call him, he reckons. He's calling but no, the Yeezys have been great. I've kind of, last probably 6 months I've jumped on and got a lot of 350s.
It's not just one pair though, is it?
Nah.
They're called 350s, but they're probably worth a bit more than 350.
Yeah, they resale for a bit more. So you get on the StockX and the GOAT websites, and they resale for a bit more. The retail is
got no idea what you're talking about. GOAT websites and StockX, to be honest, but I'm guessing it's a resale kind of
sneaker resales.
Sneakerhead talk.
Yeah,
good chat.
Just nod and smile. Yeah.
So how much do you drop a year on it? You reckon? 6 months ago you started, and you're probably
so I'm probably 9 pairs in now. So that's
quick
probably
maths,
been the last 6 months. So they vary on how much each cost. I haven't got a big pair yet, I haven't got a big fish. I've just been sticking around the middle of the range. But Fifey was rolling around a pair today that he doesn't even realise it's worth about $2,000. So once he realises that, I reckon he'll be selling them pretty quick to get the $2,000 in.
Loves cash, doesn't he? A lot of boys, yeah. So you've obviously spent a bit on the shoes and haven't really gone too hard on a shirt. The current shirt for listeners only viewing, it's just a white shirt with a bit of scribble on the front, but
it's Brandon Walker. I've got Brandon Walker on the front.
He's told us he's paid $1.50 for it. So anyway, well done with that. Is there any other club with a better shoe collection, or is it just Fife? Fife's got the nice one that he's not aware of.
Fife doesn't pay for any, so he gets them all free, all the good ones. But there's a few boys that have rocking some good kicks at the moment.
A bit salty there with that, mate.
Yeah. Wasn't he? Bit better.
He's won a few Brownlows, mate. I think he's entitled to a few pairs of shoes, to be honest.
100%, completely agree. But the thing that annoys me is he doesn't know how good some of those shoes are. He doesn't respect it.
Okay. Got to put some damn respect on the shoes.
Yeah, of course.
The hoovers, as my man would call them.
Steph Giro, he's got
sneakerhead.
He's into the buying and selling though. He's got a few little bots going on his computer and stuff.
Really?
To get on the raffles and stuff. So he's into it. Michael Frederick, he's good.
So you basically just mentioning the swag lords of the group.
Yeah, that's what they've been calling us. Yeah,
the swags.
Yeah,
swags.
Yeah, nice.
Sean Darcy leads there.
Big swag. Big swaggy onions.
So it was a good win on Saturday night, Caleb. How'd you find being back home in front of our fans? We had about 30,000 there.
Yeah, it was great. It was very loud, especially throughout third quarter, I reckon, when we got on top. It's the first time I actually got to run out through the crowd like underneath, which was pretty special. It was very loud through. I reckon it was louder in that room than it was out there. So
they were going bananas in there, weren't they?
It's great, isn't it?
It's the AJ Darwin Club. That's the.
I'm not too sure who's in there, but
I'm not too sure. Yeah, all right.
Games will we win as well on the weekend. Obviously, we come back through there, and by that point, they've had a few jars of whatever they're drinking, and a bit more boisterous, a bit more happy.
A few more jars, a few more decibels of volume there, so it's nice.
So the party really starts as coming back through there. It's a great environment.
I'm about to find Griff. He was in there hugging everyone, and he was getting around all the.
I was dapping up McDougs, so it's good to see him actually.
And we were treated to a clash of titans, Buddy v Griffin. Thoughts on that? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, it was. Well, I think Griff was a little bit flat with us poking the beast at half time. I think we were trying to stand up for the boys, and yeah, Buddy was in the middle. So
Someone poked the bear. I think it was Blake. He got into him. So
yeah, Blake was very lippy at half time, but it was actually the first time I played against Buddy, and it was it was pretty special. I was a Sydney supporter growing up, so my last few years of supporting him pretty heavily. Buddy was there and going pretty well. So he's a very big man.
He is.
He's not as big as Griff, obviously, but I reckon,
longer.
yeah.
So you're cheering for him deep down.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
That's
doesn't
what
it?
it's what I've
You're
kind of
stoked
got
he
from
kicked
that.
6 on him.
Nah, I was loving what Griff was doing offensively. It was very impressive.
I'm not convinced.
Especially some of the stuff in the last quarter.
Mate, if you say
Oh my gosh.
if you
I was
like
holding
him,
on to the back of him at half time. I was trying to drag him down. I was leaving the ground. I was holding on, just going for a ride, but nah, he is a big unit. I tried to tackle him once, and he just ran straight through me.
I think he shook off. I hate to say it, but he shook you off once.
Yeah, he's a big man. He's moving really well still.
Yeah.
He's going really well.
Who's older?
No, I am. Yeah,
You are.
I'm older. Yeah,
Reckon?
so he's a young boy compared to me.
He's a young buck. What are you gonna say?
Well, our young buck I thought was awesome, but I noticed when I looked back there a few times, Buddy was chuckling. Were you having some words?
There's sometimes I'll try and maybe say a few words. He didn't bite on much, to be honest. It took a while to crack in, and he only bit back once. I started with a size, asking what size his shoes were, and he kind of just said, "Oh, well, mate, I'll stop trying to talk to me. I'll sign a pair for you after the game if you really want." At this point, he kind of kicked 3, and I said, "Yeah, well, I actually wouldn't mind it."
Cheers.
Cheers, yeah, fair enough. But the one thing I did kind of get a little, just enough out of him to kind of get in there was I told him that, I said, "Buddy, you're not the best left foot I've ever seen grace the footy field. Brent Guerra is, so." I know he's past team out of his, and now he had a little chuckle there. So
You got to chuckle at him. Actually, probably true if we're fair. Brent was an amazing
booming left foot,
kick.
but yeah, Buddy's probably a better left foot if we're honest.
You think?
Yeah, I know so. Yeah,
Buddy is a better athlete, no doubt. But Brent Guerra is an absolute purist of a kick.
it was. Yeah, Bing Bong Serong wouldn't really know him, but
I just remember him in 08 just rushing all those behinds in the grand final.
Whoa, controversy! I love it.
Joel Corey was actually talking about it the other night. He was a little bit flat, I think,
he
still.
definitely
Yeah.
poor old Joel.
And we saw during the game, Caleb, big Joshy Tracy, the Kahuna,
Big
kicked his
Kahuna.
first goal. I'm not sure the ball's landed yet. He kicked it so far, but were you close
Came
by?
down with
Did you
snow
get
on it,
around
didn't
him?
I was right next to him. I was screaming for the handball receive, and then he just didn't even look at me. And just
You
dobbed it
already
close
kicked
line.
one and wanted another one, didn't you?
Yeah, I was getting thirsty. I was but nah, it was a great moment. I think we saw some vision of it in there in the team meeting, and to see all the boys get around him like that when he just dobbed it from 55 post height was pretty special. So at that time of the game as well, I think it was a great thing
kick.
for him. Yeah,
Huge kick.
Big kick.
Did you get up from full back or not?
I ran all the way from full back
All
and
the way.
just about to pat him on the head, and I said, "Nah, maybe get it back." I gave. There's actually vision. He just gives a wink.
Thumbs
and
up.
It was to me, and I went. So it's all we needed. Myself and
Yeah,
Kahuna, we got a
nice
good
connection.
relationship. So
It's nice to see him get on the board. He's obviously taken him 4 games, but
yeah,
yeah, he's got a bright future, I think.
and a big kick.
huge kick.
And your ex-roomie, Rory Lobb,
Lobby, yeah,
dominant performance with his big spaghetti arms.
about time, might I add, but really good at performance. I thought stood tall. What four contested marks, 4 goals. It's pretty good, to be honest. It's good.
Particularly, we
Good
had Tabs go down with his
Tabs
ankle.
went down, needed
Yeah.
to stand up. Kahuna stood up. Lob did his job.
Mm.
What a win.
And as good as all that wasn't the biggest news of the day. The club announced Tame Impala, Kevin Parker is our new number 1 ticket holder, and he released a song. Did you notice coming out after halftime his new song that he's
The Freo hype
constructed
song.
for us?
Yeah, the anthem. Yeah, I was having a bit of a listen. I had a bit of a listen after the game as well on Instagram. I saw they released it. So
Did see that, yeah.
yeah,
That's
we
great
love
news. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it?
The
He's a
boys
gun.
love
They're
Tame Impala,
guns.
don't they?
Yeah.
They love Kev.
Yeah, he's been
Gets
in the
around the
rooms
boys.
post game a few times with us, and boys absolutely love having him and hosting him. So he's mentioned to me after the game actually that he and Josh Tracy share a little similarity at the moment. They're both yet to lose in a game at Optus Stadium that they've participated.
Really?
So Josh is obviously playing. He's 4 and zip, and for Kev, when he comes to watch us, I think he's 3-0 this year at Optus.
Shout
So
out Kev, Tame Impala.
I asked him would he come
Travel
to Adelaide
with us?
this
Yeah.
week, but he said he's got a gig down at Margaret River, so bit
Busy
unfortunate.
man.
But, so you mentioned just before you're a big Swans supporter growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Fremantle did an article on you last year as well about how amazing your football IQ is and your big brain busting out of your ears there. How did the Swans in particular support come about?
Yeah, it's a funny one. My whole family's all different clubs. So my old man's Geelong, my younger brother is Hawthorn, other brothers Geelong as well, and mum's Carlton. So we've got a bit of a mix in there, and mum's the only one.
When you walk in
Isn't it?
the Serong
Yeah,
house,
pick your own. Yeah.
pick your own event.
Well, mum was I felt bad for mum. She was the only one that didn't win a premiership when we were growing up. So
Yeah,
she was
fair enough.
stuck down the bottom, and we were up all fighting for the flag. But it made for some pretty intense Saturday night battles between Sydney, Geelong, and Hawthorn. So I think it was 2006. I was 5, and I just started really getting into footy. And Sydney were pretty good then when Goodsy was rolling around in the ruck and,
Goodsy,
and
how
stuff
good
like
is
that.
he?
So
He was amazing.
yeah,
One of the all-time athletes, every position on the field.
I saw him kick
gun.
8 goals against Chris Main at the SCG once,
Oh,
and it was an absolute clinic. It was incredible.
Can't say
Sorry.
it was just on Maney, was it? It was,
No, yeah, it was clearly just Chris Main.
Oh.
No, you didn't get much support that day. It was a bad day for us. But
yes. So that was a big year for the Swans. They coming off the flag in 2005, which wasn't supporting them for, unfortunately. But yeah, there was the West Coast Sydney grand final, and
rematch.
I was kind of picking and choosing between teams. I just started watching footy, and then liked the way Sydney went about it. I think I liked the Bloods culture when I was 5 years old. Got around it.
yeah, I was going to say, 2005, you would have been
4.
Yeah, just.
His footy IQ kicked in at an early age.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Clearly.
Start from a young age.
Right.
It's impressive.
Any particular Swans players that you loved?
Goodsy.
Yeah, there was a couple. Goodsy was. I always had 37 on my back, and 31 was there at times as well. Brett Kirk.
Yeah. Did
He
you
was-
see him running on the weekend?
I didn't.
He was their runner
Was
on the
he?
weekend.
Yeah. He was a gun. Loved the way he played. Very much a team player, and loved watching him. And then guys like Ryan O'Keefe and Dan Hanbury early days was very good. So.
You used to coach at the club, Kirky, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a midfield coach.
I missed.
Yeah,
I reckon I
couple
just
years.
missed him by a couple of years, but you would have had a bit to do with him.
Yeah, he's a great fella and a really good coach and clearly a fantastic player. Yeah, so it was good to see him on the weekend briefly. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't notice him. You may have been a bit
I
starstruck
would've
during the
been.
game and got you off task.
Can't have you going off task, but good footy IQ from Sebba as well. It's impressive. 5 years old. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
You're a
Rich.
gun.
So did you feel a bit weird on the weekend or even last year playing Sydney?
Last year was a little bit. Guys like Parker and Kennedy, I grew up kind of idolising, but as soon as you're out there, it's kind of, I don't know, you switch on pretty quick. And I remember kind of playing on Parker at some stoppages last year and was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But a lot of the guys that I really kind of loved and watched pretty heavily when I was younger had kind of retired and stuff by then. So, but yeah, you don't really think about it too much once you're out there.
Yep.
But yeah, it is pretty cool run against.
It's also the
guys I
idea of
watched.
it, isn't it? I remember my first year was coming up against Nick Rewalt. Was just I was a Saints supporter when I was younger and just absolutely loved it. The idea of, it's just a big presence of a man. Like,
Did you play on him?
got to play on him, copped the elbow in the back, like a bit of
Perfect.
We're going after one of the players. Bang, welcome, mate. Like, just elbow from Nick Rewalt, how good. But
I've never watched him
he's
his
such,
back.
he was such a good player. I loved watching him. Still remember that one of his last games, 21 marks, 9 goals. Never forget. Anyway, you did mention 2 brothers that you had.
Yep.
Liam and Jai.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
You're the oldest,
Oldest?
shortest.
Shortest.
Because
What?
the Freo media rolled you a bit with
Stitched me up.
what's going on there. Like, did you have a chat to him?
Oh, I haven't, but it was after the Essendon game, yeah. And they were in the rooms after the game, and they're both pretty tall. They're both rolling at about 193, 194 centimetres.
When you say that they're pretty tall, I reckon it's just because you're a bit short. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
it is. They're not ruckman by any stretch. They're just kind of small centre-half forward, centre-half back size.
What,
So my
192,
size,
Dave's,
like my
Dave's
size.
size. So
Well,
it's
tall midfielder
Bit
size.
taller
Small
than
midfield.
Griff, yeah.
Yeah, so how tall are you, Griff? 189?
189. That's pretty funny, actually.
That's a sore spot.
If I'm 189, Dave is 178. Like, that's what... And unfortunately for you, Caleb, you're 140. That's just the reality we're dealing with. But so they're monsters, and you're a little bit shorter. Freo media teams rolled you. You're up on your tippy toes.
Yep. Yeah, I was up on my tippy toes. My old man's taking a photo. I didn't realise the Freo media team were taking a photo, and Dad's gone waist up, which is, thanks, Dad.
Respectable.
Looking after me. Yep.
Yeah.
Freo media team, feet all the way. They've seen me up on the tippy toes, and bit of a stitch up.
I've never had to deal with either. I have an older brother as well, and he's used to do the same thing. He's a bit shorter. I was going the tippy toes, and I never really never needed to, just because I was a monster. So it sucks, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and every time I go back, they're a bit taller. So, like, I was at boarding school, and then I'd go
Yeah.
back after a month or so, and they'd be even taller, and they grew very quick.
Your brain just kept growing. Your footy IQ. That's why
Yeah.
you're such a good footy player, mate. So.
That's where all the growth.
Are they any
hormones gone
chance?
in their head.
Are they on their way through the AFL ranks?
Jai's in his top age year this year, in his draft year, and he's been going all right. He's playing school footy at the moment, back at Geelong Grammar, so it's going all right.
Thanks, Geelong Grammar.
Yeah. Footy Factory, they call it.
The Footy Factory, Geelong Grammar. Cheers.
Is it? Is that genuinely what it's called?
Nah, we've been struggling as a team, but plenty of draftees coming out of Geelong Grammar.
Yeah, okay.
Where did it all begin prior to Geelong Grammar?
Started on the coast in Victoria, Inverloch Footy Club. Played my first 3 years there from like 7 to 10, and then moved over to Warragul when Dad got a job. So Warragul, they call it God's country out there. So it's great spot. Andy loves the greyhound track there. It's his favourite track. So he wants to get down there in the off-season break to have a look at it. So, but no, it's a great spot. And then when I was about 17, moved to Geelong Grammar boarding school. So a couple-hour trek, and absolutely loved that year 11 and 12. And then came over to Freo. So
represented Vic Country in the under-18s over there.
Yep, yeah, Vic Country had a pretty good side. Unfortunately, WA rolled us in the granny, essentially. Kick after the siren.
Black Swan footy, mate.
That's
what we call it.
Yeah, it hurt.
It's what you would have been dealt with. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing, not funny for us, but under 16s, the exact same thing happened. They kicked the goal after the siren to beat us, and then under 18s kicked the goal after the siren to beat us. So
was it the same bloke?
Nah, different bloke.
But you played in both.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's a bad beat.
That's a bad
That's
beat.
Blake Akers to say bad beat.
Bad beat.
So you were the co-captain of the Vic Country team. How'd you go in that tournament?
Yeah, pretty well. I was pretty happy with kind of how I played and how we played as a team. It was a pretty good carnival. Like a lot of the Vic Country boys, I think would say that year, we were all pretty close and it was a lot of fun. As you guys would know, Nationals Championship is pretty fun.
Did you play? They haven't back in the
Vic Country
80s?
We won the medal my year, mate. So.
Did you?
Who did you have in your team?
What year?
2003. So I was fullback. Missed out on the team of the tournament or whatever. A bit filthy about that. But
did you deserve it or not really?
No, I definitely did. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Played really well.
Why didn't you get it then?
Well, I don't know. A bit of Vic Metro bias, I think, but that's all right.
We've
moved on.
Nah, nowhere near. I don't know. I reckon I'd just scraped through for the team, to be honest. I wasn't the best player in the under-18s, but
pick 8 though.
Yeah, you were pick 8 as well, weren't you?
Big shoes to fill coming to Freo. Pick 8 a couple of years earlier.
Did you feel much pressure after seeing kind of me go through at pick 8?
Well, when I came in, I was like, geez, this bloke's a specimen, and he went pick 8, so I've got a bit to live up to. Early doors, I saw you throwing some weight around in the gym, and I'm like, jeepers, this bloke's an absolute stud.
Big unit.
However,
you're putting the words in your mouth.
There's a butt coming.
Youngie was at 7. Your Vic teammate, and Liam was at 9. So he's the one who did you in the 18s as well, didn't he?
He was best on that day.
Really?
Yeah, dominated.
How's that? A bit of like angst when he got drafted. Then you're like,
I was a little bit flat. I was a little bit like, what's this bloke going to be like? He stitched us up in the 18s, but he's a good fella.
Yeah.
Similar to what you were saying about Sonny earlier. Loves taking a selfie. And
Doesn't he? Yeah.
Good looking roosters.
They are.
Yeah, they are good.
Unlucky, Griff.
No, it's fine.
And when you first moved over, Caleb, you were living with Nat for a bit.
Yep.
Rumour's true that if you didn't do the dishes quick enough, he turned the downstairs Wi-Fi off on you?
Oh, we just put his little Wi-Fi that's got a 10-metre radius in his room so we couldn't reach us anyway.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
You'd know about it when you...
Oh, do I know about it? We've touched it before, but $1 million man, he can't even afford proper Wi-Fi, like dial-up Dodo internet is what he had, so I don't even know what it was, but
yeah, well,
shocking.
me and Youngie were just downstairs slugging it, trying to hotspot each other, and just the Wi-Fi wasn't reaching. And
baffling, isn't it? Baffling. Good fella though.
Well, the story is he hasn't got his TV fixed. His TV has been broken for the last 3 weeks. He hasn't got it fixed.
It's come up a few times already, the TV. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Too lazy. Too busy playing footy.
And you debuted against Gold Coast at Metricon last year. Any specific memories about that?
It was, I remember playing against Rowley probably. That was probably the biggest one. Like we'd grown up playing against each other, played with each other back in under 12s, and we kind of knew each other throughout and followed a similar kind of journey. So it was pretty cool, especially seeing what he did in the first few rounds and how dominant he was to kind of come up against him in my first game. And Another guy, Noah Anderson, who did the same thing. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to get a win that night.
That was the game where your housemate was untucking him at halftime, wasn't it?
Yeah, duck
Untucked.
untucked, really. That's so funny. Honestly, just thought he just owned him. Walked up, there's vision of it. Walked straight up to him, untucks his shirt.
He didn't even get a reaction. No,
Absolutely. Well, what does he expect? Like, it's going to ruin his day. Oh, it's just going to have to
Not sure what Duck's thinking most of the time. So
duck with the untucked.
he was getting the backwards headlock in that day as well, wasn't he?
Headlock, like the claw face against Sam Collins. It was funny. Yeah, we didn't get the win. You're right. I had a look at those photos from that game, trying to see what you looked like back in the olden days back then, and a lot of it's just of you fighting. You're a pretty fiery little character, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I think I had to get myself in the game. I had 2 touches up till half time, and
Still about touches, mate. You're a team player.
yeah, I had a couple of tackles, I think, so that was the main thing. But no, Duck, I reckon, started a bit of a fight. He was going at Sammy Collins, I reckon, and then Sonny was getting stuck into, I think it was Pierce Hanley maybe, and I've gone and tried to look after the senior teammate.
How'd you
after
go?
him. Won it early, won the first half,
Yeah.
and then got a good one on the side of the face from Took Miller.
Yeah.
He got me good.
strong man.
Yeah, so that was a bit scary, but then I think Lukey Ryan was there to save me pretty quick.
Is it just small man syndrome? You always see a lot of short guys in there.
Well, I was going to say you and Sonny probably the two most fiery guys at the club, with the shortest tempers, ready to go at a moment's notice. So I think it might be a short man thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Do you
for
find
both.
yourself a bit angry, like because you're a bit shorter?
Um,
Is that normal?
oh, you just got to stand up for yourself. Can't let you big 190, 189 centimetre guys
It's
yeah.
389. Yeah.
push us around. We're small. We got to stand up for ourselves. We got to look after each other.
Fair
Now,
enough.
it's well known in these four walls, maybe not so well known outside, but you had the choice. You're a cricketing prodigy. When did you make the choice?
Cricket background.
And why did you choose AFL?
I loved my cricket growing up. I definitely don't think I had to make the decision. I wasn't like Griff with rowing. He had to make the choice between being a cox
Rowing,
and
basketball.
Stop sucking up to the host, mate.
No, it's not so good. He's just called me a cox and he's kidding himself. Not even going to respond. Walk on.
But yeah, no, I love me cricket. I played at school and everything right up until year 12, so that was good fun. We had a pretty good side in year 12. Nearly got the chocolates, but unfortunately, St. Kevin's stitched us up. So
Did you think
we
about
don't like St.
hosting
Kevin's.
a TV show called The Choice at some point? Or-
No, I think Luke Valenti and Andy Brayshaw have got that one. Luke's was a very good cricketer as well in his own right. I think he debuted in the first 11 for school when he was year 8 or something. So
Was he really?
yeah.
What were you, a spinner or something? You wouldn't be a
I
fast
was,
bowler.
mate, you know my temper. I'm an angry fast bowler. You know
Digging
that.
him in short.
Yeah,
pushing him back.
bloody
Could
oath.
you hit a few good areas? Could you just roll?
Yeah,
it
that was
over?
the cutter, the in, out, just a bit of nibble off the wicket.
Not much.
Whatever
You know
you want,
Vern
whichever
Florey?
way you want it.
Yeah.
You would have been able to hoover down too fast. Not too big a lead.
Mate, I was running in quick. That's where I got all my pace
You would have
from.
been absolutely steaming in, wouldn't you? Never played cricket.
Just trying to
Couldn't-
intimidate the batsman.
Couldn't do cricket.
No, I enjoyed cricket
Did
playing.
ya?
up. Didn't-
Banter's the
never
best.
this good, but
Banter's the best. That's the best thing about it. You'd love it. You'd be sitting in first and second slip, just hosing the batsman.
I'll probably be in it just to have fun, to be
Yeah,
honest.
build it.
That's what we play sport for, though, having fun.
yeah, isn't it?
That's what I'm
Isn't
there
it?
for.
Now, last year, Caleb, you were referred to by JL as not your usual. That caught on a little bit for a little while, particularly in the mids group last year in our hubs, and you really enjoyed that. But obviously, that has then led on to winning the Rising Star. Pretty memorable year, an achievement for you.
Yeah, well, I think you're the one that rolled with that not your usual. I think you were the one that started that out in the mids, so that was thanks to you. But it was a kind of really humbling kind of way to finish the year. See guys that have won the Rising Star in the past, and guys that I watched, kind of Dan Hanbury when he was early at Sydney, stuff like that. And yeah, those guys are really good footballers, so it was kind of a nice way to finish the year. But like you know, Griff, we don't play football for individual honours. So
Individual accolades. That's
Yeah.
right. Did you put the kids in the car when Rowley unfortunately went down with an injury?
nah.
Did you kind of think like, no?
Mate, I played 2 games, I reckon, by that stage, and I was just trying to hold my spot in the team. So
Yeah, but deep down, you were like, I'm a good chance here.
Here he
This
comes.
is like we're not playing for individual accolades, but I reckon I'm a good sniff.
I'm flying.
nah, I can't say I was. I'm at that stage, definitely not.
All right.
Max King, you know Max King,
Yeah, I know him.
good player. He was going pretty well at that stage, so thought he had it.
Big
Down
player, big boy.
Big boy. Who's better, you reckon, Max or Ben?
Equal. Always equal.
You have to play against both of them, so you know.
Yeah, good luck, mate. Your short little arm's not going to reach up very high.
You got a bit of cash from NAB for winning that. Did you buy more shoes?
I did buy a couple of shoes. Nah, I put that straight in the investments. Looking after it.
Foot fetish.
Nice. We'll move on to our segment, Quick Hands. Now, you're a listener, so you're probably aware, but we'll fire some questions at you. Want really quick answers. Last time you called your mum?
Yesterday.
Weirdest thing about Andy Brayshaw?
Fashion or sweatiness.
Worst thing about having a locker next to the young buck?
He never wears clothes.
Best dressed teammate?
Guilty.
Best dressed teammate?
Michael Frederick.
You can say yourself.
Yeah.
Myself.
You put the yards in.
Yeah, myself.
Of course you would.
Steph Giro's pretty good as well, actually.
Favourite board game?
Chameleon.
Wallaby or Wombat?
I'm a wombat. Look at me.
Favourite movie?
Remember the Titans.
Favourite ice cream flavour?
All of them. Say it.
Vanilla.
What are you most afraid of?
Sharks, sea critters, anything in the sea.
Coffee of choice?
Strong flat white. 3/4.
Respect.
How much do you bench in the gym?
Not as much as Griff. No, I don't know. It depends on the day.
Still on the barbell, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I'm dumbbells. I can't. Shoulders no good. Bunk shoulders. So.
Yeah. Excuses.
And how many OG burritos have you smoked in one sitting?
One sitting, very hungry sitting. I smoked 2 full ones.
With some room left?
No room left. They're pretty big, so 2 is a good effort. Like 1.5, you're filling the sides, and then 2's you're really scoffing it down. So
Yeah, nice.
yeah, it was a good day.
You've got a good kind of radar for food, don't you?
Yeah, well, Travie reckons it's like a religion to me. So we'll roll
Yeah.
with
What is the go with that? Do you reckon is there any truth to that?
I enjoy my food. I think anyone enjoys their food, but I enjoy nice tasting food. I like, especially when we're in Gold Coast. The hotel won't be named, but I didn't really like the hotel food.
It's
So it's not just the love of food; it's the consumption of it. You're known for being an aggressive eater. You attack your food.
aggressive on the footy field, aggressive in conversation, quick to fight back, and aggressive when you're hoofing down OG burritos.
Yeah, I'll cop the aggressive. I won't cop the amounts that
that's fine.
I'll have a small serving, but I'll smoke it.
Indigestion is a serious problem for you, though.
It is, yeah. Andy Brayshaw's been here, hasn't he?
Often needing a pat on the back.
Yeah, Andy often just helps me out with a little pat on the back to help me out.
Do you smack the chest just to make sure it's going down the right
sometimes
side?
you have to. The indigestion really settles in here, and you got to really help it out.
Why don't you just eat it a bit slower? It's as simple as that.
Take a breath.
Well, when you're hungry and it's tasting so good,
I know, mate.
tough.
We know you can inhale an OG burrito. It's just...
The joke is that I don't take a breath when I eat. I eat and I don't breathe.
Well, that's you inhale it.
Yeah.
All the way in. Done.
I know Andy's giving you this information because he's the one that does it all the time.
We've just witnessed you eat.
But
it's shocking.
He's nearly just as bad. Have you seen him in the off season?
No. You got no leg to stand on.
Right.
We're bullying you here.
Yeah,
You can't bring him into it. What if you had to bring it down? It's your last day on Earth. That's it. Martians are coming down. They're going to blow the Earth up. You've got one feed to choose from. One feed. What are you going to eat?
An OG burrito.
Really?
Have you tried one?
Yes, but come on, like we've heard enough of the OG burrito. Give me something else. Give me a nice food and a drink.
I'll be honest. I'm pretty simple though. Like I like my food, but I'm pretty simple. So a nice chicken parma, and chips.
Yeah.
I can't go past that.
Garden salad.
Yeah, you got to have the garden salad because it takes away a little bit of the guilt.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's weird that is. I wonder if
you
that's
smoke that first.
Is that
you eat the salad first.
Is that honestly how it works? You kind of, I'm the same. I kind of hoof down this salad and go, right, now I can really annihilate. I'm going to delete this part of me once I've knocked down this salad.
Yeah, that's my tactics. You eat the healthier, less tasting stuff first, and then you go, all right, this is me now, and you finish off with a really nice taste in your mouth.
So we've spoken about 2 of your loves: shoes. 3 shoes, buddy kicking goals against Griff, and
Yeah,
food.
thanks for that one.
Yeah.
Low blow, but move on.
4th, Chloe.
Yep.
How did you guys meet?
We met at boarding school, so she's a Geelong girl, so she boarded at grammar, but yeah, she only lives 15 minutes from school, so that's kind of where we met, and yeah, she's recently moved over, which has been great. It's great to have her over, and she's got some really good friends and connections with a few girls already, so she's loving it over here.
Yeah, great.
So what does she think of your shoe obsession? And I won't go into the foot fetish, but shoe obsession. Is she across that and happy with it?
Nah, she's worse. Like with her fashion and stuff, she likes her clothes and stuff.
Likes the finer things in life. Drives a Beamer.
Yeah, she drives a Beamer. She's got a nice X4, so
it's a nice car.
She loves that.
Beautiful car actually. Runs well.
It's nice to drive any chance I get when I'm not coming to the club where I'm going to cop some crap for it.
And which you, yeah, at least you're aware of it.
Yeah,
so.
I've never driven it into the club.
Nah.
But around South Freo and stuff, I'll whip it around.
You and Moose Pierce, the Beamer drivers.
The Germans.
Yeah, I could have guessed.
She a Freo fan?
She is now, yeah. She was Geelong.
Yeah.
The whole family was Geelong, pretty heavy Geelong fans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's converted.
Does she have a favourite player?
Other than myself, you, Dave. She loves you. Like
2 in 2 weeks. That was unscripted.
No, this is like, I don't know about that. Like, you reckon Dave as well?
Well, everyone loves Dave. You know that.
Do what I can. Thank you again, Chloe. I really appreciate it. This seriously was not scripted.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change who we get on this body.
If we just keep asking, surely someone will say you, Griff. If we just keep asking the question.
Well, obviously it's gonna be one of you two.
This is meant to be
maybe you should ask the question.
Like the old bull and the young buck, and all that's happened is we've got this chirpy little food loving bloke come on, say he loves seeing me get goals kicked on me, and that his missus thinks Dave's a player, but anyway. Caleb, we've got one of the oldest midfielders going around in the room with you. Must have been pretty good for you. Did you know about Freo? Because I know Tommy North back in the day didn't know anything about the Derby, or not many people from the East Coast watch much of Freo. Did you know about Dave Mundy?
I did, yeah. Dave has the name has kind of tracked it over to the east.
Yep,
he's made it over, yeah. But I did watch a lot of the Dockers through kind of 15, 16 when they were 14, 15, 16 when they were really good, and then like kind of a couple of years after that, like just before I got drafted, I didn't really watch too much of the Freo Dockers, and kind of went up to come over. I knew obviously the main guys like Fife, Mundy, Logue.
There we go.
But
back on the track now. Okay.
He's sucking up now.
But it's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you get to work with one of the premier midfielders of the time. Have you learnt much off him? Kind of, you've won a rising star to individual accolade that you touched on, but did Dave have much to do with that? Kind of being honest, have you learnt much off him?
Yeah, no, he's been great. Both him and Fifey have been unbelievable to kind of just pick their brains. A lot about stoppage craft and just little things about running patterns and decisions to make out there on the run, and their communication out on the field is unbelievable, because sometimes everything's going so fast and you get to a stoppage, you don't know where you're supposed to be, and they're very clear on what needs to happen and where we need to be, and just team structures, and very calming heads out there. So they've been fantastic.
It'd probably be two of some of the best minds to go off in the midfield. I mean, they don't really give much insight to backs and stuff. Must be look after your own backyard kind of jobby with just get into the midfielders. Don't really give the backs any advice and stuff. But mate, anything's I'm happy to take some advice when you're looking to kind of give out the information. Just feel free. I mean,
I cut my teeth, mate, in the back line. Drafted as a fullback, debuted as a halfback.
What'd you say?
Ready to go.
Where I cut my teeth. What's happening?
I've
never heard. Have you heard of that? That's where I cut my teeth.
Never heard that.
It's like earn your stripes. Yeah. It's the equivalent of earn your stripes. Is that what it is?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just broadening your horizons week in, week out.
That's where I cut my teeth. I have never heard of that. That's actually not a bad saying.
I'm glad that we can educate you on our potty each week.
Yeah.
Give you something new. I'll have a think about it for next week.
Yeah, fair enough. But you boys spend a bit of time together, obviously, in the midfield. Do you enjoy working with each other, kind of? And you got the coach at the moment, Josh Carr's our midfield coach.
Yeah, he was new in last year as well. I think last year's environment really helped our group. In particular, we're up on the hubs, and you'd be aware, but we each kind of getting around.
I am aware, actually, yeah.
Oh, were you there?
I was there.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
No, we're each getting around in our separate lines, so getting like minibuses to trainings and things like that, but spending a lot of time with each of the midfielders for us, and for you, the backs, I guess, was really good for our group in particular, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially for me coming in first year, haven't played many games, and especially early in the year when I hadn't played any games, just kind of getting to know the guys. So, spending a lot of time together in the hub was fantastic because kind of when you start playing with them, you know them a bit better. And, it was a lot of fun, the hub, I thought.
So, mate, it's clearly worked for you because I've really enjoyed watching your game and I've seen you develop across the years. And when you first got to the club, it looked like you're a young mould of a Lockie Neal. And, I reckon you can definitely track towards that kind of career for sure, to be honest. So,
absolutely.
Thanks, Griff.
Absolutely going really well. So we'll have a quick look ahead. We're off to South Australia to play Port Adelaide this week. Griff, do you think there'll be any border controls to keep you out after some of your comments?
Yeah, I did badmouth South Australia on the
real
previous.
hard.
Yeah, I went hard at it. Didn't mean to. Just slipped out. I didn't have a nice day there, but got the 4 points, and that's what we went there for. So that's what we'll be doing again today. So if they're not gonna let us in.
Well, no, it's not us. It's you.
Hey, we're in this together. We're a team, mate. So come on. Yeah. Sorry, South Australia.
We'll try and sneak you in the property.
I'm not staying for long. I'm not staying for long, but.
Caleb, have you played many games at Adelaide Oval?
Played the Adelaide game obviously earlier in the year, but prior to that, just one Nationals game back in under 18s and no crowd there. So different environment than playing with a packed Adelaide Oval. It's pretty intimidating at times.
They're up and about as well this week.
Yeah, well, let's hope they have a good crowd there with everything that's gone on in Victoria in particular over the last couple of days. But anyone in particular you're looking forward to playing on or a bit nervous about playing on?
Oh, their midfield's, pretty experienced and going really well, especially with guys like Boak and Wines, both really good.
Big units.
Yeah, midfielders, tough at it, really good in the contest. So I think it's going to be a really good challenge for us and, really looking forward to it.
What about down back? Griff giving up about 2 feet to Charlie Dixon in height.
He's a monster, isn't he?
He's a big man.
Big boy.
Yeah.
Confident? A bit nervous?
Always back Griff in. Always back Griff in.
See, mate. That's what you learn. You know what mate stands for? Meet at the end. Just never leaves me behind, Sebba. Even though he's getting there, mate. So thanks for that. Anyway, that's probably us there, mate. So we're off to Adelaide, take on Port. Hopefully come back with the 4 points as I touched on. But Sebba, did you have fun, mate?
Absolutely loved it. It was like I said, it's a bit of an honour, and I was a little bit nervous coming on, but I think, 5th podcast. It was nice. I was pretty lucky to get in early, I think, before it gets too big. I was talking to a few guys. I think they're a bit nervous about getting on when there's too many listeners.
Elon Musk to the moon.
Yeah. Well, we've mentioned a few times, but the line of guys wanting to get on is growing by the day. So
I think Sean Darcy was saying today he's a little bit flat.
He's bottom of the list, mate.
Yeah.
Bottom of the list.
Anyway, Sebba, it's been great to have you, mate. You and your Brandon Walker t-shirt. So all the best in South Australia. Give us a hand getting Griff in and we'll go from there. But thank you again to our listeners and our viewers. We'll be with you again next week and we hope you enjoy.
Thank you. Like and subscribe.